The Walking Dead may be entering yet another chapter with Season 3 of The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon premiering September 7th, 2025, but longtime fans of the franchise still look back on the original series for its highest and darkest moments. Despite the spin-off's uneven quality and controversial story choices, one episode from the flagship series continues to loom large over the franchise more than a decade later. That episode is No Sanctuary, the brutal Season 5 premiere that aired in 2014. At just 42 minutes, it remains one of the most disturbing, uncompromising installments of zombie television ever produced. More than a shocking opener, it reshaped the way viewers saw both the show's world and its survivors. Inside Terminus, humanity at its lowest. The episode begins with a chilling flashback that recontextualizes the so-called sanctuary of Terminus. Once a safe haven, its people were warped into predators after suffering violence at the hands of outsiders. What might have been a tragedy instead became an excuse for them to embrace a new, horrifying philosophy. In a world without order, one must choose to be the butcher or the cattle. This idea plays out in a slaughterhouse sequence so grim it still unsettles fans today. Rick, Glenn, Daryl, and Bob are lined up like livestock, seconds from being bludgeoned and drained for food. Unlike other Walking Dead villains who killed to conquer or intimidate, the Terminus cannibals reduced human beings to raw resources. The reveal of children's toys among their victims' belongings underscored that no one was spared, not even families. Carol's last-minute rescue, blowing open the compound with a tank explosion, was as cathartic as it was violent, proving once again that the dead weren't always the biggest monsters in this universe. A turning point for Rick and Carol. What makes No Sanctuary endure isn't just its gore, but its impact on character arcs. Rick's increasingly ruthless worldview, culminating in his later clashes at Alexandria, can be traced back to this experience. After Terminus, his warnings about how dangerous the world had become carried more weight. He had seen firsthand what people were willing to become. For Carol, the episode was nothing short of a redemption. Exiled earlier for taking extreme measures, she returned as the group's savior. In doing so, she proved that her pragmatism, once seen as cruel, was essential for survival. From that point forward, Carol stood shoulder to shoulder with Rick and Daryl as one of the show's most vital survivors. Redefining horror on television. What set No Sanctuary apart was its willingness to push boundaries of televised horror. The Walking Dead had already introduced audiences to violent villains like the Governor, but the cannibalism of Terminus was on another level. Unlike Negan, who justified his brutality with control and order, the cannibals embraced inhumanity as their identity. The episode reminded viewers that the most frightening aspect of the apocalypse wasn't the zombies, it was people stripped of morality, using the collapse of society to indulge the darkest instincts. Why fans still revisit it? Even as the franchise expanded into spin-offs like Dead City, The Ones Who Live, and Daryl Dixon, fans often return to No Sanctuary when debating the series' best episodes. Its combination of relentless tension, grotesque imagery, and meaningful character development embodies what originally made The Walking Dead a phenomenon. Later seasons leaned more heavily on interpersonal drama, sometimes at the expense of horror, frustrating longtime viewers who craved the sheer terror that episodes like this delivered. No Sanctuary remains a benchmark, a reminder that the series' true strength lies in shocking its audience not just with gore, but with a raw look at how fragile humanity becomes under pressure. The legacy of a nightmare. 11 years on, No Sanctuary is still cited as one of the franchise's most disturbing achievements. It didn't just scare audiences, it permanently reshaped the characters who lived through it, and in doing so, altered the trajectory of The Walking Dead itself. As new seasons approach with mixed fanfare, it's worth remembering that the show once thrived on unforgettable horror and devastating choices. For all its stumbles, The Walking Dead has rarely been more powerful than it was in those 42 minutes of unflinching television.